Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. All right, back to the grind for everybody today. The long weekend is over, and now it's back to reality. How many of you have read the book 1 Second After? I know we've talked about it for years on this show, William Fortune's book about basically Armageddon, an electromagnetic pulse that basically takes out the power everywhere, right? Y'all know this story. If you haven't read the book, I would highly suggest doing it. What a lot of us are looking forward to is the movie, which starts filming this month, September 2025. The cast has been announced, the whole 9 yards. Ironically, they're not filming it in North Carolina. They're filming it in Sofia, Bulgaria. I guess it's cheaper to make movies in Bulgaria than it is in North Carolina. But the premise of the whole movie is, or of the whole book, I guess, if you will, is terrorists set off EMPs over the United States and completely knock out the grid, right? We all know this. We've made preparations for it. People have started building off-grid power systems and reinforcing them to be anti-EMP. You have a company by the name of EMP Shield who is making products to protect your house, to protect your car. We have stuff in Faraday bags, etc., etc., etc. So if something like this happens, okay, we have a chance, nothing's guaranteed, as a protectant to maintain some of our normalcy in life. But the chances of somebody being able to detonate a nuclear weapon 250 miles above the surface of the earth without being noticed isn't super likely, right? And of course, you have all sorts of defense mechanisms to take down any sort of nuclear missiles that could possibly do this. Now, granted, if you rain hell on the country, the world, or whatever, but I mean, in the book, it was a terrorist organization. They don't have an arsenal like the U.S. or Russia does. You know, they have a couple. All right, so be it. But what if it didn't take a nuclear weapon, right? What if this could be much more concentrated? What if they were developing something that could drive down the street in your neighborhood and wipe everything out? Enter the Epirus Leonidas. Very, very quietly last week, there was a test done up in Indiana, Camp Atterbury, by Epirus, which is a subsidiary of Palantir. You guys have all heard that company name, mostly talked about investments. They did a test of Leonidas, which is their second generation mobile EMP, on taking out drones. And guess what? It was super what's the word I'm looking for? Effective. There we go. They put 49 drones up in the air, zapped this thing with one pulse, and all 49 drones fell out of the sky. How long do you think it's going to be until they take this where, we could use this for fighter jets or tanks or whatever? And then how long is it till it's, hey, we can use this for crowd control. We could use this to stop riots. You think I'm kidding? Watch this first video here. This is on the product itself. That's the military aspect of it. A BRDM type vehicle, wheeled armored vehicle, driving around with this weapon attached to the top. It's okay. If you saw something like that in your neighborhood, you might take notice. Sure, okay. It'll look a little weird. You get an 8-wheeled vehicle, armor plated with this huge thing on the back. Something's up. So then you take a look and go, well, what would they do in a civilian world? How could it affect us? How could this be mass produced by, I don't know, our government, the Chinese government, anybody who is anti-people, who is trying to control the population? Take a look at this. You think I'm kidding? That's their conceptual idea for where to take this next, right? Granted, that's just animation, and that isn't in production as of yet. Towed by a pickup truck, mounted on a side-by-side. How difficult is it to get that through the area? Oh, you hook up a toy hauler trailer. Nobody pay attention to that. Certainly not around here, okay? And drive those in anywhere you want. And, you know what? We're going to park this here. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, we unload them all under the cover of darkness while everybody's sleeping. And we drive down the street and go zap, zap, zap. And all of a sudden, everybody's done. There's no power. And the next thing, we are looking at what would be a movie where everybody's freaking out. There's no power. There's soldiers in the streets. Okay, you could say, well, gee, you're really stretching it there. Sure, okay. And that's what people said about the internet, about cell phones. I mean, go back. You remember the old Star Trek movies? Click, click, Scotty, beam me up. Communicators, right? You walk around with one of those every day. But that was back then. Oh my God, that'll never happen, right? This is what we have to pay attention to. This is what we need to prep for. This is why sense of community is so important. This is why your mag is so important. This is why you hear me talk about LPs and OPs, listening posts and observation posts, about guard duty, about cameras, about alternative power, about EMP protection, etc., etc. Because this is exactly how it's going to happen. It's not like they do in the U.S. We're going to be attacking you in 3 days. Our typical, we let all the civilians know so they can clear out. No, when they come attack the United States, they're going after the civilians. We're dangerous. So they want to shut us down as fast as possible. And the easiest way to do it is to shut down the grid. Now, whether they drive down the city streets and go, okay, we're going to shut down, because this thing's got a range of about a kilometer, okay? We're going to shut down this neighborhood, we're going to shut down that neighborhood. That would take a lot of manpower and a lot of vehicles. So why not go to the source? Let's take one of these and go to the power generation facility or all the transformers. And you take out a transformer that takes out miles of power. You take out the main hub, the main generation source, as hardened as those could be. Some of it still isn't. And now you're taking out, states at once, all on the back of a pickup truck. And then they go around with the little side-by-sides and go, this area didn't get it, zap. This area didn't get it, zap. And the maneuverability of those things is it doesn't need the roads, which of course would be totally taken over, blocked off by either an OPFOR military or our own military. It's things like these that you need to pay attention to. Not that it's probable, but it's possible. And if they're developing it, don't think they're just using it for drones. That is the reason now, because you have a whole bunch of people that are out there going, drone warfare is the future of everything. All it's going to be is drones, 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 drones. Okay. The problem with that is, once you drone everything, you still need boots on the ground to secure the area. And so that happens. And in order to secure the area, somehow you got to get rid of the people. Think about that. We don't pay a whole lot of attention to the latest military gear that is not available to us, obviously. But we need to pay attention to what our potential enemies, even if it's the U.S. government, hi Democrats, you already are the enemy, could feasibly use against us. And we need to plan accordingly. Because after all, that's what preppers do. Pinball out.